Hey everybody, this is Andrew Capkovic playing some Kerbal Space Program. What do I plan on doing today is just a flyby mission to Duna. We're going to go ahead and stop by its little moon Ike. And why are we doing this? Why, of course, for science. Science, science, science. So, let's go ahead and get started. Just going to go ahead and show you what we got on this rocket. This rocket, average rocket, it's just got 6 SRBs. Then we got 7 main sails consisting just of the 2 orange tanks, 1 smaller tank, so the main sails don't work because we all know that that's super annoying. I think this rocket actually has about 11k delta V, so it's got enough delta V to really do whatever we want. So let's go ahead and get this baby in orbit. Let's see, a lot of people, they always ask me, and everyone always hears this who plays KSP, especially the new people ask it a lot, is when to do what when you're going into orbit. And personally, I've watched countless videos. Everyone does their own way. There really is no best way, I would say. What I do, though, is just wait till about the second part of the atmosphere. I go ahead and throttle down a little bit to about, I don't know, 3/4, and I just adjust my inclination to just about usually like 45 degrees. But that's what I do. Honestly, it takes practice to figure out when you need to do it, and everybody I've ever watched always has their own way of doing it. So we're gonna go and speed up time a little bit, just because this video was like a 50-minute video, and no one wants to watch a 50-minute video of getting to Duna. And surprisingly, Bill, I don't even know why, but we took Bill along, and he is a happy camper. Like, he's got a frown on his face a couple times, but he's surprisingly happy this entire video. I don't even know why. So, he's crazy. But what I actually do is we're just gonna go ahead and I'll wait, to get my wait to get to the apogee. I'll look at the artificial horizon or altitude indicator, gyro horizon, whatever you guys want to call it, and we'll go ahead and throttle towards the vector just to circularize to orbit, just like everybody does. I was just getting some beautiful little shots here and there of the, I guess since it's the Kerbal universe, we would call it the Kerbal Way instead of the Milky Way. I mean, that's what they would do. So I don't know. You know what I was wondering is, I wonder, there's so many different types of galaxies. There's like barrel galaxies, we have spiral galaxies. I wonder what it looks like from the inside of that galaxy. If it just looks exactly like our galaxy, the Milky Way, I don't know. It's a good question, or maybe you guys know. So let's go ahead. What we're doing now is we're gonna go ahead, we're throwing some nodes out there, and we're wanting to go ahead and get an encounter with Duna. That's all we're doing right now, pretty much. It takes a little bit, of course, just to get that encounter. Honestly, I'm not doing anything the most efficient way. I could have thrown in some different little maneuvers and gravity assists, yada yada, but I just wanted to get there so we could do some science. I do have one mod on this. I forgot the name of the mod. I'll have to throw it in the description down below, but it adds different science experiments. Now, that's, I needed something to add a little bit more flavor to the game because I've been playing KSP for a long time, and honestly, it gives you more science and it's a lot more fun. All these little different experiments and whatnot. Bill can go ahead and perform. Poor Bill. This is actually, my first vid ever doing anything like this, and I just want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I love science. I always have. That's why, anyone who plays KSP is obviously drawn to science. I'm sure everyone who is watching this video can relate to that. What I can't stand, though, are the social sciences, like sociology, and things that don't have hard facts that stay consistent. Economics is the same way. I actually had, in my first semester of college, I took economics in I'll tell you in a second, we're going to go ahead and, we got the encounter with Duna. What we're doing is just circularizing our orbit, and you can tell that was a long burn. That was really inefficient. I should have definitely adjusted back before. But anyways, what my economics teacher told me the first day I'm sitting in class, my first semester of college, he goes, in economics, a foot is not necessarily 12 inches long. And in saying this, he was trying to say that everything changes all the time in economics. Nothing's straightforward. Nothing has, any type of, consistency. It changes all the time. He said maybe one day we're doing science right now on Duna, and I was wondering why Duna has such large polar ice caps. It's kind of silly, but that's what he told me. I never did like any social sciences. Let's see here. So we're doing that science. We're going to go ahead and send back our crew report and our EVA report. We're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and see what we're doing. Yeah, so the large polar ice caps, it's weird. I guess Duna's supposed to be Mars. It's equivalent to Mars, except Mars has 2 moons and Duna only has 1 moon. I think since those polar ice, it's so weird that they're so large. You think since Duna has a little bit of atmosphere, they wouldn't take up such a vast majority of the planet. But, it is a game. So, let's see here. Let's see. So I do watch, I read science articles a lot, and we're going to go ahead and go over here and get an encounter what Ike to do some science. But the science article, I was on Science Daily, one of my favorite websites, and as of December 20th, we had some really exciting news. Astronomers have been trying to find out why stars get so large. Our sun, 1 solar mass, okay, that's how we judge it. But why did it start fusion at its particular size? Shouldn't there be a particular constant in the universe where all stars, once they get so much hydrogen and once they get so much energy, just start fusion once the pressure builds up? You would think that would be it, right? You think, and if that was so, there would be a really low different types of stars. There wouldn't be very much, variety of stars, but there are. Like we're a main sequence star. There's different types of stars out there, a lot of different types of stars. So pretty much what they were doing was trying to find out what processes are going on in the star for fusion to stop, or not to start, actually, not to stop, but why isn't it starting at, let's say, a certain mass? And I was thinking, that's actually a damn good question. Shouldn't there just be like a universal formula to find out when a star is going to start fusing the hydrogen? Well, it's actually I think it said the Atacama Large Millimeter Array. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but they gaze in the deepest, darkest clouds of gas and dust where they assumed stars would be taking place, stars would be being born, but they weren't finding this at all. And what they're actually finding is there was actually little to no heat. So there was actually another force that was pushing back out while gravity was pushing in. We're going to go ahead and do some science real quick here on Ike. Let's go ahead and get that over with. It's just a big chunk. But anyways, so what they actually did to find out how they found out the temperature, which I thought was really cool, is they use an isotope of hydrogen called deuterium, because this likes to bond with other molecules at really low temperatures, so they can start seeing actual temperatures in these gas clouds. And what they found was, there's very little heat. So some of these stars are like, the biggest one known is 150 solar masses, which is just huge. What they're thinking is that it's actually magnetism that is keeping these stars from starting fusion. So these stars are going to have enormous magnetic fields, and there's some type of magnetism that is actually stopping this from happening. And I assumed, I was reading the article, I was assuming they're going to say dark energy, because lately in physics here lately and theoretical physics, dark energy just solves every equation. It's just like, let's plug in dark energy, boom, it works. So Anyways, we're trying to right now get an encounter with Kerbin. This takes forever. I'm just trying to trim the nodes, trying to get a nice encounter to use the least amount of Delta V as possible. Let's see here. And we find an encounter here, but I feel really bad for Bill because Bill ends up staying like 140 days in space, and he just wants to go home. He does. And you know that he's suffering from space sickness. His bone density is 0, and his muscles have deteriorated to nothing because we didn't put any exercise equipment in the capsule. So we get that encounter. We're gonna come up to this node. Yada yada. You guys all know the drill. But I thought that was very interesting about how the stars, there is a variety of stars in our galaxy and the universe. I'm sure there are stars very larger than 150 solar masses, but that's the biggest one I think that we know of. So, let's see here. We go ahead and we're going to get this encounter. I trim the nodes. Yeah, it's actually more efficient to trim the node at a farther distance. You get more bang for your buck. It's kind of like a lever. You know how a lever works. So, let's go ahead. And look, I'm very far off. You know what is hilarious? We barely came back to Kerbin with the skin of our teeth because out of that 11k Delta V, I wasted so much of it. I think we come back with like 20 units of fuel left, 20 units of liquid fuel. Did you guys, I don't know if you guys have that same bug. When you're going 10,000 times acceleration, you just go through the planet. I don't know, but it's weird. Let's pretend that didn't happen. So let's go ahead and get into re-entry. And the solar panels, they're surviving re-entry. And Bill is happy as can be, even though I'd be scared shitless right now. Look at him. I don't know, he's insane. I think he's going to dance here in a second. But let's go ahead and pull. We're going to go ahead and decouple these engines here, these nuclear engines about now. Anyways, there we go. Now, all right. So we pull up our parachutes. This is the most horrible design. I tested it, before we went all the way to Duna, and I don't know why I didn't fix it. Most of the time, that bottom half would break off when we opened the chutes because of the force. But thank God, Bill is in the top half, and he would have been safe either way. But we're going to have touchdown here in a second. Looks like we made it home safe. And Bill, the Kerbal Space Program thanks you for your duty to science. Your life, we feel, is worth some science here at Kerbal Space Program. And we have touchdown. Perfect. Poor Bill. We're not going to get him out of the capsule because we know he can't walk. Let's make it realistic. Alright. 1800 science. That's not bad. I know some of you guys out there are like, well, I get like 4 trillion science on every mission I do. Let's make it more realistic. Fly by one planet. And everything I did in the science tree here has been unlocked except for like the last half. I've done it all with just that one mod, and I have the engineering Redix mod, which just tells you your Delta V. It doesn't really help with so I try not to cheat. I try to keep it as realistic as possible, and as stock as possible. But I'm gonna make some other videos. I plan on adding a couple more mods, ones to make the game more difficult, nothing to help out too much. But that's all I really have for you today. I appreciate you guys watching. If you did go ahead and subscribe. Leave me some feedback. If I'm wrong, go ahead and leave some feedback. I take criticism very well. Thanks once again. I appreciate you watching.